Hello and welcome to your Daily Word.
Welcome back to our Daily Word. I'm Pastor David, and today I will continue with a snapshot taken from the life of Lot, found in Genesis 19. As always, please remember that a snapshot does not portray all of one's life. Rather, it is a picture of a moment in time found in their life upon which we can reflect for our edification. Today's reading in Genesis 19 is found in verses 12 to 17, where it says, "The men said to Lot, 'Have you anyone else here, son-in-law, your sons, your daughters, and whomever you have in the city? Take them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the outcry against them has grown great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it.' And so Lot went out and spoke to his son-in-laws, who had married his daughters, and said, 'Get up, get out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city.' But to his sons-in-law he seemed to be joking. When the morning dawned, the angels urged Lot to hurry, saying, 'Arise, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of the city.' And while he lingered, the men took hold of his hand, his wife's hand, and the hand of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought them outside the city. So it came to pass, when they had brought them outside, that he said, 'Escape for your life. Do not look behind you, nor stay anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest you be destroyed.'" In verse 12, the 2 men whom we know from Scripture were angels that were sent by God to execute his judgment on Sodom and Gomorrah and upon the inhabitants of the plains as well. They advised Lot that if he has any family in the city, that they are to take them out of this place. Why? Well, they tell him clearly, because the Lord has sent them to destroy the city because of its wickedness that has gone up before the Lord. So Lot, upon hearing this, goes to his sons-in-law and tells them that they must pack up and leave immediately because God was going to destroy the city. But they didn't believe him. They thought he was just a big joker. Well, so far from what we've read, we see that God was honoring his word to Abraham in that he counted only Lot and his family to be righteous when he judged them, which, if you would include his son-in-laws, with Lot, his wife, and 2 daughters, they would only be 6 in number. God had said he would spare the city to Abraham, even if only 10 righteous were found. It would appear that in the eyes of God, Sodom and Gomorrah were so sinful and so evil that it had to be judged and destroyed. In addition, God also acted right in not allowing the righteous to suffer the fate of the wicked. He sent his angels to warn and remove them from the harm's way of his coming judgment. In fact, later on in verse 22, you'll discover that the angel instructs them, "Hurry, escape there, for I can do nothing until you arrive there." That tells us that God has assured the righteous of his divine protection, and they will not suffer the judgment that is destined for the wicked. Oh, what a privilege we share. What peace is afforded to the believer who puts his trust in God. It does not mean that we will never experience hardships or difficult times in this life, for the rain falls on the just and the unjust. But if our faith is in the promises of God, then we shall not suffer the fate of the ungodly. Now, this warning was given to Lot in the evening, just around the time when people were preparing to lay down to go to bed, according to 19 verse 4. It appears that Lot and his family stayed there the entire night until morning, because it tells us in the very next verse that the angels in the morning spoke to Lot again with urgency, telling him they must get up and to take his wife and his daughters and flee, so that they would not be consumed in the punishment. What stood out to me is that it says right after this in verse 16, "And while he lingered, the men took hold of his hands, his wife's hand and his hands of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought them out and set them outside the city." And then basically instruct them, "Run for your lives, don't look back." So my question is, why did Lot linger? Was his heart so attached to the lifestyle, the comforts of living in the city? No more nomadic lifestyle, roaming to and fro, having to find new pasture lands and new water holes? The area was lush and fertile outside of the city, meaning he could be prosperous. Not only could his sheep and goats have lots of room to graze, but he could plant and harvest crops and have plenty of food, perhaps even enough to sell others. He may have even achieved a certain level of comfort for him and his family. Could it be that he and his wife struggled with letting go? Well, we know for certain that she did, because later on we will be told in this story that she will look back and she'll be turned into a pillar of salt. Has there ever been a time where you lingered? Where you wasted time in being obedient to the voice of the Lord or to his warnings? I'm sure we all have at some point. But even in that, God showed Lot mercy. God could have left them, having been warned, to get caught up in his judgment upon the city, but his mercy commanded his angels to forcefully drag them out of the city to ensure their secure escape. How often has the Lord been merciful, allowing us to escape the harm that should have befallen us because we hesitated to obey? May we be like Lot and his 2 daughters, who finally learned to obey and completely followed the instructions of the Lord. They were spared the judgment that befell Lot's wife, whose heart caused her to still desire the old way and to look back. May it be said of us that our song is, I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Come back tomorrow for the next Daily Word. God bless.